Let's see. And we're live.
Hey, hey.
Hello, hello everybody. Welcome to this very informal interview to our one of our mentors in Camp Archipelago, and that is Ryan Longnecker, our friend.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey Ryan, how's the weather over there?
It's nice now. I mean, it's California, so we had some snow, we had some rain, but now it's back up to the 77 all the time. So it's great.
So 77, it's like 30 something degrees
Yeah,
Celsius.
right.
Wow, that's like summer.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it really never changes here. There's only about a 10-degree switch, so it's
Oh
nice.
man. I envy you. I envy you. Every time I see your photos, it's like I'm always like living a summer dream and playing my Nintendo. You know this Daytona driving game.
Yeah.
And that is always the thing I see in your images, and I just go crazy.
Well, that's what it is here. It's pretty insane.
Man, before we start, the some personal questions and some questions that I want to ask you personally. Let's play a word game. I will say a word,
Okay.
and then you will just say the first thing that pops up in your head, whatever phrase or a word or a thing, etc.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Office,
Space.
bonfire,
Beach.
darkness,
Simon and Garfunkel.
pizza,
Pepperoni.
mystery,
Novel.
2016,
Miserable.
backpack,
Hiking.
beach,
Water.
sofa,
Nap time.
cinema,
Popcorn.
friend,
Road trip.
home,
Mountains.
archipelago,
Camp.
family,
Love.
2017,
Better.
Ryan Longnecker.
Best.
You did not even think twice.
No, that's the first thing that comes to mind every time.
I mean, really, you're one of our favorite photographers. If we want to be sincere with you, you're one of our favorite photographers, not only because of your images, but the way you do it. You have your personal mark in every image that you do, and it really inspires us all. Thank you so much for your good work.
Thank you. That means a lot.
And we want to ask you some questions. If you don't mind, can we get personal in the questions, Ryan?
Let's do it. Let's get to it.
All right. Right. Who is Ryan Longnecker?
Ryan Longnecker is a person who tries to catalyze imagination.
Wow, that is deep.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of my maybe a tagline, but in everything that I do, I studied music, I studied theology, I do this art stuff, and I think it all kind of centers around how do we encourage people to imagine better. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I do. I'm a husband, father of two. There's a lot of things that would fit onto like my Tinder profile, but I think I don't want to get into that.
Safe. That's safe. That is very safe. You told. Oh, you just tell that info that you have two daughters.
Yep, I have an 11-year-old named Lexi and a 18-month-old named Sierra.
Oh man, we just had our baby like a couple of days ago, like 90
Yeah,
days
I
ago.
heard that.
And we are like, this is crazy difficult, just one baby. And
Yeah.
is it easy to have to be a photographer like you, like adventurous photographer like you are, and to have two children?
I think that it's, I don't know if I would say it's easy. I think that it's that I'm choosing to do something that I love, and so that makes the hard choices easier. I think that no matter what kind of work you do, in order to support a family, in order to support yourself, you have to work hard and you have to hustle and you have to make sacrifices and you have to do things that are hard. But I think that there's a lot of people out there doing things that they don't even love, and they have to make those kinds of same choices. And so I think that the fact that I'm choosing to do something that I'm passionate about, and I've turned it into something that can support my family, that those choices that are hard are easier than if I was doing something that I didn't love. But I think that in just the nature of the kind of work that I do, there's a lot of people who are super successful, who are 18 and 19 and 20, who are just amazing artists, and they have nothing but time and they don't need a lot of money. So they're able to take jobs quicker for cheaper, and they just have more time on their hands. So the kinds of people that are in the field that I'm in make it super competitive. And that is what can be tough, is that a lot of these companies that I work for, they need a person to be really flexible. And so remaining flexible when I've got so many things to kind of keep me at home and kind of keep things stable, that can be hard. But I think the emotional part of it, that is not too bad. So,
I mean, you told before. Thank you for opening that info. And you told before that when you have a project, they might call you just like days before or a week before the project.
Yeah, I think that the more that I get into this world, I'll probably start to work with larger companies and do things where they have actual budgets and plans and times and things like that. But so many people that I've talked to that are even way more successful than I am say the same thing, and that's that people might call you and say, we have this thing that we want you to shoot for, but you need to be here in a week, you need to be here in 2 weeks. And so they might be asking 20 people that, and if half of those people are the 18, 19, and 20-year-olds that I was talking about that don't have families or don't have careers yet, it's a lot easier for them to say yes than it is for me. But if I want to actually be successful in this, I have to be willing to make that work sometimes. So yeah,
you always have to stay fit and stay young with this kind of job, eh?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's why I've been trying to think lately about what kind of would come next, because I mean, this world is for people who are young and flexible and artistic, and it's like, I think that you could always stay artistic, but to stay young and flexible is just one of those things that eventually I'm like, well, what would come next? What would be the next kind of move in art once I'm one of the old guys? so who knows? I don't know.
Do you remember that guy who is a landscape photographer that did those 10 books a year ago?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is you right now, but how do you see yourself like 5 years from now or 10 years from now? Do you see yourself still as an adventure landscape photographer, Ryan?
I think that it would probably, or I'm hoping at least, I'm hoping it would transition to, I'm hoping I would do more work with environmentalism. Like, I would love to move my work into just strictly like traveling to take photos that are pretty for travel agencies and things like that, into working with companies and with people who are trying to restore the planet and take care of it. And so I think that while that would still involve travel and it would still involve going around and taking pictures, I would be more focused on the activism part of it, of like, how do I actually make maybe policy change to where we take care of this earth and things like that. So I think that I'll always travel and I'll always take pictures, but as far as the where I'm going to be putting the most of my time, that it will probably need to shift at some point.
I mean, that is actually a very good future to look forward to for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we're talking about the future. Let's go back to the past. Who was Ryan Longnecker 8 years ago? And before that, 8 years ago, and before that, 8 years ago.
Okay, so 8 years ago. Okay, so 8 years ago would be 2009. I had just graduated with my degree in music, but when I graduated from college, I'm going to switch this really quick. When I graduated from college with that, I realized kind of a few months before that that's not what I wanted to do. So I was in kind of an in-between space where the things that I was passionate about now didn't really align with having a music degree, and didn't really understand that having a music degree doesn't necessarily land you any kind of jobs. So I I managed a coffee shop. I lived with my best friends in a suite apartment, played basketball every day, played Super Smash Brothers every day. I was having a really nice time. I lived in Newport, so it was beautiful. I was dating my now wife. So that was 8 years ago, and now I'll go back another 8. So that's 2001. 2001. I was a junior in high school, and so I was probably considering being an architect. So I've always been really good with math, even if I hated it, but that was something where I could draw and then do this, and it seemed like a career path that I might take. But I was also into music. What else? 2001. Man, I was actually just thinking how good the music was in the 90s, in like 2000, 2001. Like, oh my gosh, so much better than music now. But
yeah, that's very true, eh? I'm with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So it was in high school. Yeah, I was doing high school things. I don't know. And then if we have to go back another 8 years, that puts me in like 4th grade. I don't know. I was watching Ninja Turtles and making paper airplanes and being a nerd. I don't know. So, yeah.
I mean, actually, with this backstory about you, you are not really inborn as an adventurer as you are now.
Right. Well, I mean, I grew up in the mountains. I grew up in the Eastern Sierras, and so there's something about the love of the outdoors and the love of mountains that has always been there. I mean, I grew up hiking a lot, rock climbing a lot, fishing a lot, but I don't think I ever really was interested in photography at the time that I lived there. So I didn't really get into photography until much later. But I think I always loved the outdoors, but as far as like journeying and traveling and adventuring, I didn't really have to go too far. I mean, I had mountains that were right in my parents' backyard. So I was able to kind of go explore without having to fly or drive anywhere. So that was nice.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But right now, if we scroll down to your website, we will see awesome images of landscapes, cities, outdoor, mountainous area, the ocean. But one time in your life, or as a photographer, did you shoot people? I mean, not to kill them, but to photograph, to actually photograph people.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so that's where I got my start. I was in college for music, and they had an opening to be a photographer for the college yearbook, and so it was a paying thing. They had a Canon like Rebel or something like that, and I didn't have any really good camera equipment. It always interested me. I just didn't ever have it, and um, so I signed up to do that, and that's where I pretty much went around my entire senior year of my college, just with the camera around my neck. Just I shot everything, and it was cool, and I was really compelled by the way that can communicate a story, and so I from there, my friend Mike Tezier and I started a wedding photo business, and we didn't just start like that. We started to take a lot of pictures, and then we were asked to take photos at a wedding, and then someone offered to pay us, and then it kind of just snowballed that way. So it wasn't ever really a plan that we had from the start. It was something that we needed to develop in order to kind of house these requests, because when you graduate college, if you're a wedding photographer, you're going to get a lot of inquiries right away because everybody's getting married. And then so that's kind of how it went, and it was awesome. And I did that from 2008, 2009 ish until 2016, when I finally just kind of handed it off to him, because he's awesome at that. And every time that I would take a picture with people in it, I always just thought, you know what would make this picture really good if the people weren't in it. And so and so I started to think, oh, maybe I'm a landscape photographer and I'm not a wedding photographer. And so that's when I was like, I should just chase the thing that I'm actually passionate about. So that's when I made that switch. But yeah, I took pictures of people, and I still do. I mean, I'll still do portraits, and I'll still do the occasional wedding if I'm asked, because I still like taking pictures of people. It's just that's not my main passion anymore. So, but yeah, that's what I did for like 8 years. So yeah.
I mean, as I'm hearing your story, I can't help but my mouth is just like open all the time, because it's just you're not stagnant in what you do. You always change, you always evolve, and you always push through in your life decision in photography as well. What gives you the boost or the push to do this?
That's a good question. I think what gives me the push? I think that it's because I'm really compelled by art, and I think that art actually shapes culture. When I travel and I see things in South America, or I see things in Mexico, where you see that they actually value the art of a culture, because it's a timepiece, and it's a timestamp of who they were as a people, and so you see these things throughout history where art, whether it's sculpture or architecture or all of these things, like those are very important pieces to the history of those people. And so I've always been compelled by the way that art kind of put the timestamp on history. And so I think that I just view it as super important. And I mean, there's times, I mean, I just posted on my Instagram story yesterday that it's like, I'm super tempted to quit sometimes, just because sometimes I forget about the reason that I'm doing it. And sometimes you get lost in the kind of chasing likes, or chasing money, or chasing whatever it is you're chasing. And so when that happens, I need to kind of step away from that, remind myself of like the importance of it. And when that happens, it allows me to kind of breathe. And I think, so that's that part of it. But I think also just having a really good group of artists that are my close friends that are encouraging. So, because doing what we do is not emotionally easy sometimes. And so I think having a close group of people that are willing to kind of sit with you through that and kind of encourage you in that. So I have really good people in that way too.
I mean, it's really a privilege to have a good close friends that you can rely on, especially in difficult times.
Absolutely.
I mean, you mentioned it already, but I just want to stretch some part of it about doing things for your followers or for the likes versus doing things that you really love most. Does it sometimes go against each other?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's that Instagram specifically, because I think that's where I've spent a lot of my time, is to kind of use that as a platform for my portfolio. I think that that's I have like a love-hate relationship with it, where I love it for one part and then I hate it for two parts, because I love how it challenges me, just because I've made a commitment to be constant on it, to post every day, that pushes me to know that now I have an audience that has kind of an expectation that I'll put something out there. I think that can be a good thing, because then it allows you to challenge yourself to create all the time. Ira Glass has this awesome piece that you can see where he's saying to create a lot will help you kind of close the gap on the time that you've missed if maybe you're starting late. And so he just talks about making something new all the time and kind of keeping that going forward. But I think that it definitely will clash, especially once you have an audience. I think when I started Instagram, when I started posting, when I started doing those kinds of things, I was a lot more free to be experimental, because the only people that were following me were the people that I already knew liked me for who I was. And so now that there's numbers behind this, I know that there's not 47,000 people that know me personally. It's these people that may have seen that one picture of a drone beach shot and they're like, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna follow him. But then I post something that I really care about, and it might be a picture of my hometown that's maybe less epic, but it means so much more to me, and that will tank, and it just won't do well. And I think that that's just the nature of that platform. And so I think that continuing to do what you care about and continuing to push out quality content will thin out your crowd, and it might make you less followable, because people aren't able to get that fix of the stuff that they want all the time. And I think that that's okay, because as an artist, you're not trying to give everybody their fix. And I think that there's a temptation to do that, because I know if I post, I mean, I haven't checked it in a while, but I posted a drone picture of the ocean today, and I was like, that one's gonna do well, probably, just because the majority of the people that follow me like that stuff. And so there's a temptation to do the stuff that I know people will like, but there's a conviction that's stronger than that says, but be genuine, like do what you believe in. Don't just cater to that huge audience, because that's not a sustainable way to be an artist.
Exactly. I mean, social media, by the way you mention it, by the way you picture it, it's like a cry baby, like a spoiled baby. You need to give what it cries for.
Yeah, and it's impossible. I mean, if it was just one baby crying for one thing, that would be a lot more easy to manage. But it's hundreds and thousands of everybody that wants their own stuff, where I think that it's impossible to expect people to have like an appreciation for art when the platform is scrolling through pictures where you see it for a split second, and if it's not grabbing your attention for that one moment, you're not going to like it. You might even unfollow that person because you just don't care about their stuff anymore. And so it's like, it's just not a great platform for appreciation, but it's what I've used. And so I'm trying to find ways to use that for what it's appropriate for, and then for other things that I might care about it more, finding other places to kind of share that stuff, because I think that I don't hate it. It's just not the best for when I'm sharing things that I actually care about.
Exactly. I mean, with your website, you can do anything that you want to, because that's your territory. But
Yep.
with the social media, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very hard. You're totally right about that.
I just want to ask another question, and this is a little bit more personal. So, if you would choose to spend more time, more hours to be, where would you be? Home, outdoors?
I don't know if this is breaking the rule, and I would be with my family outdoors. I mean, I think that if I could get to a point where I'm able to do these kinds of trips and take my family with me, and then I think that that's kind of the win-win.
Awesome, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Another personal question, because you made these changes so drastically during your career and in your life. Did you in that road of process of changing and evolving, have you encountered any roadblocks in your way, and how did you dealt with that?
Yeah, I think that the road blocks for me was always assuming that there was some hidden trick to it. Like I think that's a road block for everyone, is to think that the people who are successful in their field have discovered some hidden secret. And I think that a lot of it is just the people who have been doing it for a lot longer, or maybe that started participating with something like Instagram before it was huge. Those people, like, they were on Instagram's radar because the audience wasn't 300 million active users each day. And so there were some people that just got started at a better time. And you'll hear those people talk about, like, if I had to start over again, I don't know if I would be as successful as I am. And so I think that everybody just has this assumption that the people who are killing it have found some secret. And I think that there's just an element to some people are at the right place at the right time, but it comes to, like, you will be as successful as you can possibly be if you hustle hard. And I think that some people have gotten better starts, and some people just maybe have the right hookups, and some people have that, but it's like there's no secret. It's just work as hard as you can with the elements you have. And so I think the blocks that I've come up with is that when I assume, or when I get bummed out thinking that the thing that's going to take me to the next step is some hidden thing. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just, maybe I'm just going to be here for a bit. And so being okay with being patient as an artist, I think has been one of the ways that I've overcome it, is like not trying to hurry it, just trying to work hard through it. So, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, many new artists right now are just, they just want to do it. They just want to be in the top, and they've never been in the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I mean, that is really very good counsel. Like, one of the roadblocks is finding the trick, and it's really awesome. Thank you for bringing that out.
Sure.
Another personal question: success, is it always equals to money and fame?
I think that fame, or I think that success, or let me think. That's hard because
take your time.
Yeah. I think the quick answer is no. I think that depending on how you define success, some people define success as money and fame. So if you're one of the people that says success is when I get money, then yes, for that person, the answer is yes. I think that if that's how you define success and you get to that point and you've made money or you've got followers, you realize once you get there that, oh, this isn't success, because I still want something. I want fulfillment. I want honesty. And so I know a lot of people that have made it to the point where they're successful because they've got the fame and they've got money, and they're like, but there's still something more. So I think that everybody that equates success to money and fame, when they get there, they have to reevaluate it. And so I don't view success as money and fame. I view success as being genuine, improving, learning. And so that's never a place that I like arrive to. It's being successful as I go. So yeah.
Well, man, you are totally inspiring me right now. I want to hug you. I want to hug you right now.
Soon.
I was always like, ooh. Well, thank you so much for being sincere.
Sure.
So we are going to Camp Archipelago very soon in Azores.
Yes, yes.
Are you excited about it, Ryan?
I am. I love to see new places, and that is a new place, and it's islands, so it's gonna have water, and I saw that it's got some really cool hikes, so it's gonna be right up my alley.
So what are the things that you are looking forward to in Azores apart from the landscape?
I am looking forward to meeting some of these people who have been so complimentary and who have participated with the tribe up to this point, who have said nice things, who have been generous to me. Just hanging out. I just like hanging out with people. I like people. So yeah.
I was actually speaking personally with Rafael. And with Rafael, you know Rafael Bojar.
Yeah.
And we picture you not speaking during the day. We picture you speaking in the bonfire with the fire behind you and with a stick and dancing there. Ooh, ah, ah, ooh, ah.
That's awesome.
I mean that is totally adventurous for you.
Yeah.
And what are the things that you love to share with people or share with the artists that are starting right now or want to refresh their creativity?
I think I'm just wanting to share with them to be patient with their own process and to find people near them who are also working in the same areas to just hang in there, because it's not easy. So yeah.
Not easy. It's not easy, but you're
Right.
here.
Yeah.
You're here.
I am here.
You're here. Thank you so much, Ryan. I think I did ask all the questions that I prepared for you,
Awesome.
and you answered more than I expected.
Cool. Good.
Hey, do you have something to announce, like some personal project or future project that you have working on in the near future?
I don't
could be
right
expecting?
now. I mean, I have some things that are kind of in the works that I'm not allowed to officially talk about, but when I am allowed to officially talk about it, I will make sure to let you know.
Hey, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So, I think we are almost done here. But before we go offline, what will be the last counsel or advice that you can give our listeners? Make this count.
Yeah, right. I think that it's really easy to be critical, cynical, to share your opinions, which isn't a terrible thing. But I think that if you train your eye to see the beautiful things around you, you'll see them more often. And so, especially right now in a time where I think just globally, it's easy to be negative, that you can choose to see the positive in other people's work and other people's lives and call it out. compliment each other, say good things to each other, like be a good person. But yeah, I think that that will help you be a better artist too.
Perfect.
That's it. Yeah,
I mean, that is very wise advice, Ryan. Thank you so much.
absolutely.
So guys, spectators, audience, we want to thank you for hanging out with us in this Google Hangout with Ryan, our friend Ryan Longnecker. And we will see you very soon in Camp Archipelago, Azores. And goodbye. Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Bye. And we will be offline in 3, 2, 1. Thank you.